Ever wonder if God is trying to tell you something, but you're just not hearing it? What if divine guidance isn't always a booming voice from the heavens or a dramatic vision in the clouds, but something far more subtle and far more unexpected? We often spend our lives waiting for the spectacular while missing the sacred in the mundane. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the surprising ways God might be whispering His will when you least expect it. Get ready to tune into a frequency you might have been missing your whole life. Let's be honest, when we think of God speaking, many of us picture Moses on Mount Sinai or a dramatic vision like Paul on the road to Damascus. And yes, God can speak in those incredible, undeniable ways. But for most of us, most of the time, it's just not like that. And this expectation can actually become a barrier. We're so busy waiting for the theatrical lightning bolt that we completely miss the gentle flicker of a candle right in front of us. I remember a time I was wrestling with a huge decision, a career change that felt utterly terrifying. I was praying constantly, begging for a sign, a clear word, anything. And I got silence, or so I thought. I kept driving my usual route to work, listening to the same podcasts, doing the same chores. I felt completely adrift. Then, one morning, while I was simply making my coffee, a completely mundane, everyday act, a phrase from a book I'd read months ago suddenly popped into my head, clear as day. Sometimes the greatest leap of faith is simply stepping into the unknown, trusting the net will appear. It wasn't a booming voice, it was just a thought. But it was so precise, so comforting, and so exactly what I needed to hear in that moment of quiet reflection. It changed everything. So how do we begin to tune into this quieter frequency? One of the most common yet overlooked ways God speaks is through the language of everyday life. Think about those coincidences that just keep showing up. You're struggling with impatience, and suddenly everywhere you turn, a podcast mentions a book on mindfulness, a friend brings up a story about perseverance, even a random quote pops up on your social media about waiting well. These aren't just random algorithms or chance. God often uses recurring themes in our conversations, the media we consume, or even the small observations we make to highlight something important. It's like divine breadcrumbs. Each crumb on its own might seem insignificant, but when you look back, they form a clear path. Or consider this. Have you ever noticed a specific phrase that keeps appearing when you're contemplating a decision? It could be an opportunity that keeps knocking, even after you've tried to close the door. These aren't always a direct yes or no, but a gentle invitation to pay closer attention, to ask why this particular theme is so persistent in your life right now. Another profound way divine guidance arrives is through unlikely messengers. We often assume wisdom will come from the experts, the pastor, the counselor, the wise elder, and absolutely, it often does. But what about the unexpected sources? The person you barely know, the child who makes a throwaway comment, or even a total stranger. I once heard a story from a woman who was overwhelmed trying to make a major decision about moving their elderly parent. She felt completely stuck. One afternoon, while at a playground, a small child ran up to her holding a puzzle piece and simply said, "This piece doesn't fit here, but maybe it fits somewhere else." The mother called the child away, but for this woman, it was a sudden, crystal-clear moment of insight. She realized she was trying to force her parent into a situation that wasn't working, when a different, unexpected fit was available. It's about lowering our guard and being open. Discerning wisdom from those we might typically overlook or dismiss requires humility. It's a powerful reminder that God is not limited by our expectations of who He can use. Sometimes the purest, most direct message comes from the simplest, most surprising source. Beyond external cues, one of the most profound ways divine guidance arrives is through an inner prompt, that quiet voice of intuition, or a profound sense of peace. Have you ever felt that subtle nudge in your spirit? A gut feeling that something is right or profoundly wrong, even when all the logical arguments point the other way? This isn't just random emotion. When it aligns with biblical truth and leads to genuine peace, it's often the Holy Spirit guiding us. The challenge is differentiating this genuine intuition from anxiety, fear, or even wishful thinking. So how do we tune into this inner compass? Practice stillness. In a world filled with noise, quiet time, even just a few minutes of silent reflection or prayer, creates space for that inner voice to be heard. Check for peace. As Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." If a decision brings genuine deep peace, even if it's challenging, that's often a sign of alignment. If it brings turmoil, unease, or a sense of unsettledness, it's worth reevaluating. Pray for clarity. Ask God specifically to help you discern your own thoughts from His whispers. He wants you to hear Him. This inner prompting is a profound gift, allowing for a deeply personal and ongoing dialogue with the divine. The freedom that comes from releasing our expectations of how God will communicate is immense. It's a weight lifted off our shoulders. We don't have to wait for the mountaintop experience. We can find Him in the valley, in the mundane, in the unexpected. So how do we cultivate an open and receptive spirit in our daily lives? 1. Stay present. Be mindful. Don't rush through life so fast that you miss the subtle beauty and potential messages in the everyday. Ask open-ended questions. Instead of just, "Tell me what to do, God," try, "What are you trying to show me today?" Or, "What am I missing?" Reflect and journal. Regularly write down observations, recurring themes, and those gut feelings. You'll start to see patterns. Practice gratitude. A gratitude heart is an open heart, more attuned to the blessings and guidance all around you. God is speaking, always. He's just often speaking in a language we sometimes forget how to hear. But with an open heart, a discerning spirit, and a willingness to look beyond the spectacular, you'll find His whispers are all around you, guiding you, comforting you, and leading you onto the path He has for you. So, here is the challenge for all of us this week. My call to action for you is this: don't just look for God in the big, life-altering moments. This week, I challenge you to look for Him in the small ones. Just once a day, maybe when you're making your coffee or on your commute, just pause, take one deep breath, and simply pray, "God, help me to hear your whispers today." And then just listen. Be present. Be open. You might be absolutely stunned by what you find. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's a surprising, unexpected way you've heard God's guidance? Share your story in the comments below. You never know who might need to hear it. If this video resonated with you and you want to join us on this journey, please like and subscribe. We're building a community here, learning to hear the beautiful whispers of the divine together. Stay open, stay receptive, and keep listening.